beautiful day it is here in Pittsburgh. A lot of folks at work, but plenty of folks coming to PNC Park for a special matinee game between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Seattle Mariners. The brief two-game interleague series comes to an end today. The Pirates winning last night. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. And what a pitching matchup we have here today, Bob. Can't get any better than this. King Felix Hernandez for the Mariners, and for the Pirates, their ace, A.J. Burnett.
Definitely a throwback game. I feel like we're going back into the 60s when you got guys like these numbers. This is like Drysdale versus Blast. So look at the whip for Hernandez, 0.91. That means he's giving up less than a base runner per inning, and that's tough to do. You don't see that very often.
Well, you don't see Andrew McCutchen in many slumps, so when he does get in a slump, as he was earlier this year, he gets out of it pretty quickly, and boy, has he gotten hot over the past week. Last night, his second four-hit game in less than a week, Bob.
Well, last year he emerged as a true superstar of the game, and this is what your superstars do. When they go into a slump, it's minimized. They figure out how to get out of it real quick, and when they come out in a fury. I mean, he's hitting 500 over his last 6 games, and it's not just the singles, putting the ball over the fence. He's got a couple of home runs. He's just tearing the ball up.
Andrew McCutchen, no question, leading this Pirates offense. As we said, we have quite a pitching matchup this afternoon at PNC Park. You might say maestros on the mound. And as Bob just said, throwback, maybe Drysdale versus Blast, the Bucks and the Mariners, coming up next from PNC Park. It is a beautiful day here in the Berg. Concluding game of the homestand. Pirates will be on the road for 4 and then return to PNC Park for a long stretch. A.J. Burnett getting ready to face King Felix. I guess the question really is, will this game live up to its billing?
You never really know, what might happen out there. There could be some, it's baseball, so there can be some, bloop hits, things like that can turn things around. Rock always likes to say, round ball, round bat, one of his favorite sayings, and that's what's special about baseball. That even though you come into a ball game with great numbers, as AJ does, as he walks out to the middle of the field, you don't know what might happen out there as far as somebody hitting a chalk line with a ball or a blooper falling in. Somebody might boot one. So it is a pitcher's duel right now. We'll see how it plays out during the course of the game.
School kids, many of them on hand here today, and our field cam featuring A.J. Burnett walking out to the mound and giving that young lady an autographed baseball. Check out the starting lineups for these Mariners. Michael Saunders, Jason Bay, Kyle Seager, 1, 2, 3. Then it's Kendrys Morales and Dustin Ackley, who since the middle of April has been at batting .338. Jesus Montero does the catching. Andy Chavez, Robert Andino, and Felix Hernandez round out the starting 9. Pretty different lineup. Day game following the night game. And A.J. Burnett's on the mound, and the numbers here, Bob, brought to you by Chevy.
And they're all good. There's nothing there that you would be concerned with at all. The only thing, and this is not up on the traditional numbers, is that he does throw a lot of pitches per hitter. And that drives that pitch count up a little bit because he strikes so many people out, 57 strikeouts. And that's something hopefully as the season goes along he can work on, so he can start going out there and going 7 just about every night, pushing it up to maybe 8 innings occasionally. I get a little bit more efficiency, but that's nitpicking.
Well, kind of like his last start, which he did a great job of. He still struck out 9 and pitched 7 innings and threw less than 100.
You need to get more of that type of effort, but it's hard to strike out 9 guys and keep it. That means you have to get a lot of strikeouts, 4 pitch strikeouts if you're going to do that, and that's not always easy to do. A lot of times strikeouts come on, 2 counts, 12 counts. They'll throw a lot.
See if his defense is in use this afternoon with Andrew McCutchen in center, Starling Marte and Travis Snyder on the corners, Alvarez and Jones in the infield corners, Barmas Mercer up the middle, and McHenry doing the catching. Travis Snyder had a big RBI double in the first inning last night. He was back in the starting lineup. He missed a stretch of games, bothered by a side injury, and now we are ready to go as Michael Saunders steps in, the left-hand hitting center fielder who was 1 for 4 last night with a stolen base.
Speaking of those strikeouts, I really do expect AJ to get up maybe even double figures in strikeouts this afternoon.
67 degrees at game time.
I mean, it couldn't be a more perfect day to do anything, especially pitch. In the 60s, it's just beautiful out.
Saunders taps that one foul. He's hitting .281. 4 homers, 11 runs batted in. For sure.
Look at that.
Great day on the North Shore and here in Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. Ball, 1 strike count on Michael Saunders. Burnett is now second in the league in strikeouts behind Matt Harvey of the Mets, and now in front of the center fielder. A ball and 2 strikes. A.J. Burnett has struck out 57. Matt Harvey now with 58. Crowd wanted that one. The fastball called a ball by Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire.
Right on the edge. Could have easily been strike 3.
That's strike 3.
Now that's a typical strikeout, 5 pitches. And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. When you strike out a lot of people, it gets the pitch count up there. And also several times you'll see somebody will get struck out by AJ after maybe 3 or 4 foul balls. It can even push it up to maybe a 7 or 8 pitch at bat.
Here is Jason Bay. Right at the shortstop. Barmes. Quick out.
That'll help pitch count. One pitch, one out. Kind of even things out a little bit.
Bay walked a couple of times in 4 trips to the plate last night. So 2 up, 2 down for A.J. Burnett. He has been excellent as a Pirate against the American League. Last year, 4-0 and a 2.08 ERA in his 4 starts in interleague play. He and Steven Strasburg of the Nationals and the Tigers' Justin Verlander, the only 3 pitchers in baseball to go 4-0 in interleague play last year. Kyle Seager, left-hand hitting third baseman, takes ball 1. He had 1 of the 5 hits last night for the Mariners. A 2-out single in the 6th inning off Justin Wilson. Seager leads the Mariners with 16 runs batted in. 2 balls, no strikes. Eighth start this season for A.J. Burnett. Two and 1. Janmar Gomez, great job last night. Emergency start for James McDonald, who 2 hours before game time was placed on the DL. Gomez went 5 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. 2 and 2.
Very good. AJ's thrown 3 pitches that I don't know what they
just
are.
Gonna ask you
He's
about
getting
that.
Swings and misses, and I'm trying to figure out what they could be. There's the fastball for the last strike, but he's gotten 3 swings and misses. Strike 2, strike 3 on the leadoff hitter. Now there's his curveball. We know what that is. That's a dandy.
Strikes out 2 and 11 pitches in the top half of the inning. Starling Marte will lead things off against King Felix. Here's the lineup, brought to you by Toyota. And Starling Marte against the first pitch this season. An amazing .615 batting average. Travis Snyder follows, then Andrew McCutchen and Garrett Jones with Michael McHenry. Starting once again, Russell Martin pulled from the start last night with a neck issue. Then Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer, Clint Barmes, and A.J. Burnett.
Take a look at the Felix Hernandez numbers. They are awesome. Only 7 walks with all those strikeouts. That's a great number. Opponent batting average down. He does everything well.
First pitch strike to Marte.
Not a real hard thrower. See Starling's numbers.
And it's That's a fair ball, and Starling Marte begins the game again with a hit and a double. Starling Marte, phenomenal what he is doing in the first inning.
Can't get him out. There's no explanation for it. It's not the same type of stuff. It might be a home run, it might be a double, it might be a swing and bunt.
Last night, a check swing single for him in the first inning that led to 2 first inning runs.
And because of his great speed, the third baseman has to come in on the grass to play him, so that opens up some holes over on the left side, and he takes advantages of it. He'll hit the ball through the hole, he'll put it down the line as he did there.
Snyder trying to move him to third. Snyder 1 for 9 lifetime against Felix Hernandez. Snyder 1 for 3 last night. 0-2 on the Pirates right fielder. Travis Snyder hitting .288. Lead off second for Marte. And Hernandez gets a big strikeout, 1 down.
Got a good changeup. There it is again. It's going to turn over a little bit, 1 down and away. The bat not long enough to reach out there.
He's 27 years old, 6'3", 228 pounds. Signed a 7-year deal extension with the Mariners in February. And a shot up the middle. And a base hit past Ackley and a 1-0 Pirates lead. Andrew McCutchen brings home Marte.
You know, Greg, it's hard to figure out what the reason for it is, but scoring first seems to be a big advantage in baseball if you look at the numbers. And with Marte doing what he does in the first inning all the time, in this case putting himself instantly into scoring position, what an advantage this gives the Pirates to have that table set the way he does right away, first inning. And of course, McCutchen, as hot as he's been of late, he's doing some great work cashing in those situations.
He stole a base last night for the first time in several weeks. Pirates are 10-5 this season when scoring first. And we'll see if the Pirates don't take advantage when they have opportunities to run against both Hernandez and Montero. Really bad numbers for this battery against potential base stealers. 1-0 on Jones. Had a big home run late in the game last night. Checks and he takes. Appeal. Nope. Says third base umpire Eric Cooper. Last year, 17 out of 24 were successful against King Felix. 2 for 2 this season. And now it's 3-0. Robert, he told you he's walked only 7 in a little over 51 innings. Cy Young Award winner in 2010. And a 4-pitch walk.
That's news. Felix Hernandez, you're talking about how good he is, his track record, ex-Cy Young Award winner. But even all of that, you can kind of get maybe flustered a little bit. And I think that's kind of what happened there with Garrett Jones. Already he's given up a run, the leadoff double, the base hit up the middle, and then he got quickly to 3-0 count. And sometimes it's too late to make an adjustment.
And now it's Michael McHenry in the lineup last night late because Russell Martin was scratched with a stiff neck. McHenry was 0 for 4 robbed of a hit in his second at bat by first baseman Justin Smoak. Henry with 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 7 out of 30 on the year. Hernandez will try to get him to ground to an infielder. You saw Eric Wedge moments ago, the skipper of the Mariners in his 3rd year, former Indians manager. Despite last night's loss, the M's have still won 7 of their last 11 games. Oh, 0-2. Well, that's noteworthy. 1 earned run in 8 starts this season in the first inning. He just gave it up. McCutcheon single bringing home Marte. He's out in front of McHenry, 0-2. And it's bounced foul.
You think about the team's records when they score first. That's a great number to have as a starting pitcher, to not give up runs in the first inning. And the first inning is always, for me, that's always the toughest for a starting pitcher, because that is the inning you always, no matter what, you're going to see the lineup set up the way the opposing manager figures is the best way for him to score a run.
And the one time in the game, it's a lock.
It's a lock. You're going to have the table setter. You're going to have the guy that can maybe move the runners over in the scoring position. Then you got your better hitters coming up next to try and get those runs home. But that's more than anything else. That's why the first inning is always tough.
Popped up, going to head toward the seats. Third baseman Seager over. It's out of play.
And you throw in the fact that you're throwing your first pitches off the game mound. And I know that it's not that big of a difference nowadays, but that used to be a pretty big difference. The bullpen mounds weren't always the best, so you had to kind of adjust yourself to that. The first inning can be the toughest for a starting pitcher. Most of the time it is, but not the King.
Henry hangs in there, fouling that pitch back from King Felix. That $175 million contract, the largest ever for a big league pitcher. Signed in February, pitched a perfect game, the first ever in Mariners history of August of last year. And this is the second time he's faced the Pirates in his career. And again, fouled off. 0-2 on Michael McHenry. First interleague series here at the PNC Park this season. The Bucks will play 20 games on the schedule against American League clubs. In fact, they'll go to Seattle June 25th and 26th to take on the Mariners at Safeco. And there's that double play ball that Hernandez wanted. So the Bucks get one as McHenry hits into 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Marte led off with the double down the line and left, and Andrew McCutcheon brought him home. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
First inning as A.J. Burnett gets set to work. I'm Robbie Smikowski. Well, we know the body of work that these two guys have put up. A.J. Burnett has thrown a no-hitter in his past. Felix Hernandez, the perfect game, the long-term contract. But these two guys have also come up with another interesting feat. They've each thrown an immaculate inning, something that's been done just 49 times in MLB history. An immaculate inning is 9 pitches and 3 outs. That might not be that impressive, but it's 3 strikeouts. So to whip 3 consecutive guys in an inning, start to finish, all strikeouts, that's impressive. They did it almost a year apart. It's been done 49 times by just 46 different pitchers. And the 3 guys that have done it twice, Lefty Grove, Nolan Ryan, and Sandy Koufax. So, yes, we're seeing a big pitching matchup. We know what to expect from these guys. But they've also done some smaller things that may go under the radar, Greg.
Well, Robbie, it is obvious the names you mentioned, and add Burnett and Hernandez to that list, only 49 times in the long history of Major League Baseball.
Much more rare than a no-hitter.
Yeah, you have to be a special pitcher to pull it off.
Jeff Robinson. Saw him do it at Wrigley. That was a big series for him. He did that, and then he hit a home run to win the ball game as coming out of the bullpen. You don't see that happen very often either.
That has to be a first. I'm going out on a limb.
I don't think he did it the same day. I think he did it back-to-back days.
Oh, really?
I think it was. It might have been the same day.
You're talking about Jeff Robinson?
Yeah.
I think it was the same day.
If it was the same day.
I'm pretty sure it was. Because I remember it was Mike Lang and Steve Blass were calling that on old KBL network days.
It was crazy. And he was allowed to hit because he was going to continue to pitch. It was a tie game. Then he hit the home run to put us up by 1. Then they brought in Gott for the save. Mm-hmm. Basically, by hitting a home run, he took himself out of the game.
Yeah.
But he did strike out. I obviously had never witnessed anything like that until that day, and that's why I remember it. And I was like, wow, that was 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts.
Wild. Andres Morales bounces this ball to second. Easy play for Mercer.
He hit that home run off Lee Smith.
That's that. Again, how impressive. All that stuff.
I mean, he had it going.
What a day for Jeff Robinson, former Pirate reliever who would start on occasion, right?
I don't know if he ever started. No? He was he was very good as an 8th inning guy. But then I remember the year that Gott got hurt, he went into the closer's role, and that didn't turn out as well. I think he was came over from the Giants, I think, from Rick Russell.
Strike on Dustin Ackley.
Came over with Gott, as a matter of fact.
Ball fouled out of play off to the left. He actually made 19 starts for the Pirates in 1989, but did do good work as a setup man. 0-2 the count on Dustin Ackley. With 1 out. Well, Bob, you got 1 run. You're the team ace.
Let's
go get him, right?
There you go. There's your run.
Now, I know A.J. Burnett has said before that when you're up against an ace, it's a little extra special for him. Right?
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Now, you can't deny it.
So even when you're out on the mound,
well,
in other words, he knows you're up against a guy like Hernandez, and he gets a strikeout. He knows his team just got him 1 run. So does he pitch differently in this game than he would against your average Joe pitcher?
I don't think he'll pitch differently. No. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. The cough button didn't work again. This is kind of what happens is early in the ball game. Now you're pitching your game, but if you get into the 4th or 5th inning and it's still 1-0, that's where you start to change, and you're starting to really worry about it.
So not yet.
No, I wouldn't say not yet. Now, you're going up against a guy, and that runs through your mind, but you're not really trying to throw a shutout. I mean, if you could do that anytime you wanted, you'd do it every time. So you're out there, you're trying to do the best you can, and you might start changing the way you pitch later in the ball game. It's hard for somebody like AJ to change because he likes to get strikeouts anyway.
And that's where the change comes from. When, let's say you get somebody on base, either second or third, especially third, one out, then you start going for the strikeout. You don't want the ball put in play.
Let's put in play a broken bat. Sinking liner caught 12 pitches that inning. He has struck out 3, and the Pirates lead 1-0. Court from Seattle. Pirates will be, as we said, in Seattle next month. Hernandez beat the Pirates combined 3-0 shutout back in 2007, June 21st. 8 scoreless innings that day at Safeco Field. Beat John Van Benskoten that night. And popped up left side. Seager, the third baseman, makes the catch in fair territory and shallow left. Alvarez has been recently having trouble even getting the bat on the ball. Struck out all 3 times last night. Pops out here to start the bottom of the second. And now Jordy Mercer. Mercer 0 for 3 last night, and 3 hits and 15 at-bats since joining the team the other day when Neil Walker was placed on the disabled list. Pitch is high. Neil Walker will begin rehab at Altoona tomorrow, play a couple of games there, and maybe join the team in New York. Another roster move today. Josh Harrison, who saw 1 pitch last night. Harrison was brought to Pittsburgh yesterday because they didn't know if Jose Tabata was going to need to be DL'd. Tabata is going to be okay. But then when McDonald was placed on the disabled list, they activated Harrison. And he saw 1 pitch in the 5th inning last night. He popped up against Aaron Harang, and today he was optioned back to AAA. The Pirates added another pitcher, another arm, right-handed rookie Duke Welker. And ground ball left side. Third baseman Seager gets Mercer. Our AGH Sports Medicine injury update. Again, James McDonald, weird situation, just a couple hours before game time, placed on the disabled list. And Russell Martin was scratched, as we said, with a stiff neck. 27 games this year, hitting .272. Our injury update again brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. Duke Welker now in a big league uniform.
If I was Jenmar Gomez right now, I would be very happy to see Duke come in the clubhouse. To me, that they're replacing me out in the bullpen, which maybe means I'm going to stay in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he's probably going to start on Sunday, you would think.
So I mean, that's just trying to read between the lines that if you go and make an emergency start, you're impressive, and then they call up another bullpen guy, then I think that's a good sign for you.
There's Jeanmar Gomez, and Francisco Liriano will pitch Saturday against Jonathan Neese. That's an afternoon game in New York. He'll make his Pirates debut, and then you would have to think, though the Pirates haven't announced it, that Jeanmar Gomez has likely earned another start. And Barmes into left center field, a base hit. And a 2-0 pitch. 2-out single.
When you're up there as a number 8 hitter, there's 2 outs, nobody on. You're trying to figure out some way to get yourself aboard to get the pitcher out of the way for next inning. In this case, AJ. Now, every now and then, something special might happen. AJ might find a place out there. You could still obviously get a run, but your main goal, get to first base, get that pitcher to the plate so that Marte can lead off next inning, because most of the time the pitcher does make an out, no matter who that is.
By the way, just to confirm, I was not able to make the session before the game where the media talks to Clint Hurdle, but he did inform the media, even though it's not official, that Gomez is going to start on Sunday. And that makes all the sense in the world.
You always like to see, too, a good effort rewarded like that. In one sense, Jeanmar is doing very well in the job that he's been given. The spot starting, the long man in the bullpen, he's been great at that. You hate to lose that out there because it's been very effective. But if he's going to give you efforts like he did yesterday, you got to give him a shot and see what happens. So it's all up to him.
And really, it makes 2 spot starts for him. He did a solid job. Even his last time emergency start, essentially, Jonathan Sanchez let go. And he just tired at the end. Gave up a couple of home runs, gave him 1 unearned run in the first inning in Milwaukee, and then gave up home runs later in the ball game and reached the pitch count. But he was efficient last night.
Mainly a starter last year.
Yep,
correct.
With Cleveland, last few years with the Indians.
So
I
mean, it's obviously not something that would be an issue.
Yeah, and he was in the running for a spot in the rotation in spring training. A little dribbler. And the play goes 1-3. A.J. Burnett is retired. On to the 3rd inning here at PNC Park. Bucks lead 1-0.
In case you missed it last night, a very frightening scene in Tampa with the Rays hosting the Toronto Blue Jays. Jay Happ on the mound for Toronto when Desmond Jennings hits a liner back up the middle, hitting Happ in the head. Happ was taken off the field on a stretcher. He was admitted to a local hospital. The AP reported last night that he was alert and in stable condition. The Blue Jays expect Happ to be discharged today after further testing. Let's go back to Greg and Bob at PNC Park.
All right, Rob, thanks very much. I understand good spirits as well. And Mark Topkin of the Tampa Bay Times issued a statement from Happ, said, "I'm in good spirits. I definitely appreciate the support of the baseball community. It's been overwhelming, the messages and kind words I've been getting. I just want to thank everyone for that, and I look forward to getting back out there soon." That was incredibly frightening. That ball you just saw, it caromed off his head and went into the right field corner. Desmond Jennings ended up getting a triple out of it. I mean, it was he was obviously cut. Good thing is, as Rob King just reported, in good condition. And Bob, it's just one of those things that as a pitcher, it's just part of the deal, isn't it?
Through my whole playing career, minor leagues, big leagues, the whole thing, I only saw one guy get hit in the head the whole time. And as an announcer, there's been 10, and some at the games we've been watching.
Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know. That's why I was going to bring up is
you think it's happening more often now?
I think so. Maybe it's because we see all the video from all the other games in the country. Maybe it happened before, just never saw it, unless you were an eyewitness. But for some reason, it seems to be on the upswing over the last decade or so.
Like you said, maybe it's just because of the video that you get to see, so instant mass media coverage. But boy, is it frightening.
Yeah, the only time I ever saw it, routine ground ball, was Mitch Williams of the Cubs.
You actually were there?
Jeff King hit him at Three River Stadium. And that was the only time that I can ever recall somebody getting hit in the head. The ball bounced off his forehead into their dugout on the fly. I mean, that's how solid it hit him. And he never went down. He kept his feet. Wanted to stay in the ball game. They ended up taking him out of the game. They wouldn't let him, obviously, but gosh, it sure seems like
well, heck,
we see it 2 or 3 times a season now, don't we?
2 Pirates pitchers in the same year. Remember a few years ago, Ross Ollendorf and Chris Jacobauskas, the same year. Hit in the head. Robert Andino takes a strike. Andino at shortstop today. Last night, Brendan Ryan. Andino hitting just 179. Home plate umpire said he went. That's Paul Schreiber. 0-2 as he tried to hold his swing. Chad Fairchild is the first base umpire. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, at second. And at third base, it's Eric Cooper. 0-2 count. Struck him out looking. 4th K for A.J. Burnett. 2 down here in the third. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Pirates baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or go to Pirates.com for details.
Was that spelled wrong on there?
Yeah. Once again, thanks, Dash. I'm going to try to learn from you, Bob.
Come on, Dash. Can't expect to read things when they're not written right.
If it's misspelled, I'm going to read it the way you give it to me.
Yeah. Not your fault, Greg.
I'm trying. 0-2.
4 strikeouts already.
Yeah.
This could be the big strikeout dab. I'm seeing double figures. That's right.
That's what they're saying in Seattle right now. I want to see King Felix swing the bat, right? Nope. No, they're not.
He swung the bat.
They're not saying that. It's Seattle.
5 kids.
And you guys are crazy.
College Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
This day in Pirates history brought to you by Day Automotive. May 8th, 1994, Andy Van Slyke 8 for 9 in the Twin Bill. Pirates win 9-2, 9-3, sweep the Cubbies at Three Rivers. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. Van Slyke started the day at 227 and ended up at the 283 mark. Thanks to that big, big day. Again, thanks to Day Automotive.
Always like playing the Cubs.
One of those games, Zane Smith won it over Mike Morgan. That was the second game of that doubleheader. Starling Marte.
Mike Morgan, yeah, Pittsburgh guy.
No, is he? I don't know about that. Maybe. Paul Wagner won the first game of that doubleheader. Beat Willie Banks. Marte shows bunt. 0-2.
Paul Wagner had a big strikeout month in April that year.
Paul Wagner?
Oh, yeah, he was incredible. Nobody could touch him.
0-2 the count on Marte, and it's a fair ball. It'll be a tough play for the catcher, but Montero makes a nice play to retire the speedy Marte.
King didn't want it. He's just kind of, okay, you're going to have to get it because I'm not even going to run in there.
.34 pitches for King Felix. We have a tweet coming in. You can tweet the booth, hashtag Bucks Booth. What is a good average pitch count for an inning, Bob?
15 would work out pretty well.
A.J. Burnett, 11 pitches in the first inning, 12 in the second. Pitch is hit towards center.
When the Pirates are deciding whether to send somebody back out for another inning, say a starter, they use the number 15 to add on to whatever they already have to make that decision.
Hurdle has been very, very careful with his pitchers, starters and relievers. He says, I'm tied to more than their arm. I'm tied to the person. McCutchen singled up the middle to bring home Marte in the first. Fun to watch this guy when he is hot. He's on one of those rolls. 0-2.
You know, keeping pitch counts down are not a guarantee to health, but obviously all teams around baseball, they have gone to that, so they have metrics that prove out.
It was Grilli, Jason Grilli, the closer, and Mark Melancon, the setup man. This ball fouled off past third. And the other thing that Hurdle asked the other day, when somebody wondered why Grilli wasn't involved in a tie game a few days ago, he asked members of the media if anybody had managed a 36-year-old closer. If there was a book on that, on how to manage a 36-year-old closer, let him know. Barrel League leaders, the major league leader in saves, Jason Grilli, as Starling Marte began the inning with a chopper. Travis Snyder flied out, and Andrew McCutchen strikes out. A 9-pitch third inning for King Felix. Brought to you by Head & Shoulders, now with Old Spice. This is the first inning at bat. Michael Saunders.
Now you're going to see the changeup used by A.J., and he doesn't do that very often. There you can see a good look at the changeup grip. And a swing and a miss. A whiff on that change.
Well, how about the drop on that changeup, that last one?
You know, I was looking at his numbers on it. He did use that changeup in his last start. You were talking about how he was more efficient with his pitches. He used that changeup in his last start 10% of his pitches.
He's slowly but surely
which is a lot for him.
Yeah, that changeup. He said that before. He's only thrown a handful in games just to make his father happy. His dad pleads with him to use that changeup more often.
And what was even more unusual about that first inning, if you look at the way his changeup percentages are broken down with first, second, third time through. First time through the lineup, he basically doesn't throw a changeup. And he threw 3 of them, the first 2 guys. So
well, that'll keep them guessing.
It really has changed his approach against the Mariners here, a little early on anyway.
1 ball, 1 strike on Michael Saunders. 1 time through the lineup. 5 strikeouts for A.J. Burnett. And he's now out in front of Saunders. One and 2. See what McHenry puts down.
Fastball in. And ended up being a fastball away. I think a lot of fans, I think, have the impression that a big league pitcher can, basically, hit a styrofoam cup up there at any time they want. That's definitely not the case. Even with the good guys, they're going to be missing by 7-8 inches more often than not.
Did he? No.
What you like to be able to do, though, is you like to miss out of the heart of the plate. It's kind of like a golfer that has a little slice of the driver. You have to play it a little bit. You know your fastball is going to move a little bit. So you plan for it. Okay, if it moves, it's going to run off the plate so I can't get hurt. That's ideally. Now, we still see pitchers in the middle of the plate, so even that doesn't work out all the time.
It's a 3-2 count now on Michael Saunders from Victoria, British Columbia in Canada. And he walks, so he gives way to another native of British Columbia, Trail, BC, Jason Bay. And with more on Jay Bay, Robbie Ince-Mikowski.
Well, guys, we know Jason Bay, one of the nice guys you'll ever meet in all Major League Baseball, and he's returning here to Pittsburgh. We had a lot of success early in his career, and he reflected on his time before the game yesterday, and he said while he doesn't know many people in the clubhouse, he knows many of the security, maintenance, or front office people, got a chance to talk to them. The biggest thing he took away from his time as a Pirate, when they said to him, "You're one of our guys, do not look over your shoulder," when he was a young player, that really put him at ease, and he really appreciated it. And the one thing he added was that yes, it was nice to have all the personal accomplishments that he did, but he feels like they were a little bit tainted because they didn't win more and had better seasons as a team. What's something you'd really expect a guy like Jason Bay to say, Greg and Bob?
He's as down-to-earth a Major League player as I've ever met, Robbie. Go to first, the runner is back. He hasn't changed all the money that he got. Now, nobody held a gun to his head. The free agent package that he received from the Mets, they offered it and he took it. And it did not work out. He was really plagued by injuries. Very close play. In fact, looked as though Chad Fairchild, as he took a step toward the play, was ready to ring up Michael Saunders. Very close pickoff.
Well, AJ is fairly easy to run against, but the one weapon he does possess is he has a quick pickoff move, and he will pick some guys off. The downside of that is he's slow to the plate, throws a lot of breaking balls, a lot of those curve balls.
Now, the Mariners have the fewest stolen bases in all of Major League Baseball. Last night, Saunders stole his 5th of the season. He has 5 of the 9 team stolen bases for the M's. Michael Saunders. He's 5 for 5. Opponents are 6 out of 6 this year against A.J. Burnett.
It's good old-fashioned American League baseball.
That's right. Last year, opponents were 38 out of 40 against A.J. Burnett. Clint Hurdle has recently praised bench coach Jeff Bannister for making it his mission since spring training to put together a plan, a program with these pitchers to contain the running game, and Hurdle feels like the Pirates have done a much better job this year.
Well, one of the big reasons also is I got to give a lot of credit to Russell Martin. He does have a cannon behind the dish. He's made some great throws.
7 out of 17, 41%. McHenry still looking to get his first. He's 0 for 6. 2-1 on Bay. Jason Bay, who last year, his last season in New York, again plagued by injuries, concussion problems. Pirates the last 3 years hit just 165 in 70 games. And talking to him yesterday, he feels like a different human being. He's just thrilled to be back home. He actually makes his home in Seattle, not too far away from Trail, British Columbia. Back in the Berg, the 2004 National League Rookie of the Year with the Pirates, first and only Rookie of the Year in a Pirates uniform, Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star, a starter in 2006, and the most home runs hit here in the history of PNC Park. He will never forget what the fans did for him in that 2006 season. And he was a long shot at best to even make the All-Star team, but there was a big push by the team and the fans around the country to get Bay in to the All-Star game, and he ended up getting so many votes he started. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count on Jason Bay.
Yeah, Jason's home runs are different than everybody else's. You remember how they'd always just start off looking like high fly balls,
and then
they would just somehow keep carrying. But off the bat, you would never say, "Oh man, he got that one." It was like, "Well, there's a pretty good fly ball," and then the next thing you know, it's 5 rows deep into the stands. Really odd the way his fly balls would carry like that.
Wild pitch allows Saunders to go to second, and now A.J. Burnett took a while. Michael Saunders walked. And he's gone 3-2 on Jason Bay with no one out.
AJ throws that curveball so hard, and when he's trying to get a strikeout with it, he'll bury it out in the dirt occasionally. Tough pitch to block.
And he walked Jason Bay, 2 aboard, no one out. Back-to-back free passes. Don't miss live music here at PNC Park. Fan Jam will kick off June 1st with Kool and the Gang, presented by Iron City Beer. Blues Traveler will perform after the game June 15th. Iron City Beer also presents Sky Blast. Zambelli Fireworks August 31st, featuring Third Eye Blind and Neon Trees on September 21st. For tickets and to learn how you can watch the show from the field, go to pirates.com/field. Sky Blast, Fan Jam, big part of 2013. Here is Kyle Seager. He struck out in the first. There's a strike. A.J. Burnett was perfect through 3. Now walks the first 2 men here in the 4th. Seager among the American League leaders in doubles with 11. Out in front now, 0-2 on Seager. Last year drove in 60 runs on the road. Second in the American League behind only Miguel Cabrera, who drove in 64 away from Comerica in Detroit.
The American League Cities will be going to Detroit. Kind of a 4-game series.
Yeah, home and home.
It's really weird.
Fouled off. Yeah, the Pirates are going to Seattle for a 2-game series in June, but the Tigers and Pirates will play
4 straight games.
4 straight, 2 here, 2 there. That will be later this month. More interleague play next week when the Houston Astros come to town for 3. Astros now in the American League West. Pirates will also host the Oakland A's for 3 games in July. And they'll go out to Anaheim to take on the Angels in June, and then in September they'll go to Arlington to take on the Texas Rangers. Strike 3 call. Seager obviously does not agree. He's back shaking his head. 6th K for A.J. Burnett.
The fastball in the inside corner just sat right there. You know, it's a borderline pitch, but if you take that pitch with 2 strikes, you better be ready. Sometimes you're going to get rung up.
Here's Kendrys Morales, a double play candidate. He has hit into more double plays than any player in the American League this season. 8. He was never a fast player, but he certainly slowed down since that terrible mishap. Who could forget May 2010 while with the Angels, May 29th to be exact. He came to the plate in the 10th inning, the bases loaded against the Seattle Mariners, and he hit a game-winning grand slam in Anaheim, a walk-off granny. And in the celebration at home plate, he ends up fracturing his lower left leg. He missed the rest of that season and all of 2011. Two 2-0 on Kendrys Morales. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Wondering if after this mishap, Bob, players around baseball would cut back on the game-winning celebration. I don't know that it has had a major effect.
Yeah, I think it did have an effect for maybe a couple of weeks, a month after that. But guys, they forget after a while, and when that happens, they're all out there jumping around. It's just the last thing in their mind is the bad stuff that might happen. It's all about the celebration. Just won a big game.
How weird is that? You hit grand slam, people going crazy.
Next
you
thing
see
you
in the
know,
celebration, now it starts to quiet down. They bring a stretcher out, and they lose their big offensive gun. It's 2010. He did come back last year. Hit 22 homers for the Angels. 3-1. He was given the green light. Fouled off the 3-0 pitch. As Burnett looks to get a ground ball, perhaps from Morales. And shot to the right side. That's a tough one. And Jones thinks about second, but maybe couldn't get a handle on the ball. And decides instead to go to A.J. Burnett. He certainly looked towards second.
I think he had time for the double play. Look, Morales has a long ways to go, and that ball is in Jones's glove. I'm with you, Greg. I think that he didn't have a good grip on it, and instead of taking a chance of throwing it away, decided to make sure of one. Now we'll see how wise that was, depending on what happens here. Most of the time I wouldn't even give it a second thought. Okay, yeah, get one. But now you're in the 4th inning of a game. You're probably not going to score a lot of runs in. And if you would have been able to get 2, you're off the field right now.
We talked earlier. We talked earlier about a pitcher's mindset where you're going up against an ace. What about the team's mindset?
Yeah, defensively, like do you take a shot at a double play instead of making a sure out?
Quickly a strike on Ackley, who struck out in the 2nd. And he's behind in the count now, 0-2. Dustin Ackley had 3 very solid at-bats last night. Lined out, hit a hard-hit ground ball that turned into a double play, singled, and then grounded out. And now A.J. Burnett trying to strike him out for the second time, and the fans getting into it. A.J. has struck out 6, and he gets 7 here and keep 2 men stranded. In the dirt.
He went for it. Definitely the big strikeout pitch. Hard curveball, back foot. Excellent spot. Puts pressure on the fort for the block. But that's comes with the job. You know that's what's going to happen. Actually, you're calling for that. You want that hard curveball bouncing on the plate. Maybe just a little bit on the inside part. And I'll block it for you.
Burnett thought he had it. The crowd thought he had it.
Just a little bit inside. Tried to freeze him with a fastball inside corner. It just got off the plate just an inch or so.
This will be the 28th pitch of this inning. Trying to get Dustin Ackley. Second and third, 2 outs. And in the dirt, and this might tie the game, and it will. And the ball gets past A.J. Burnett, and luckily it didn't roll down those steps.
That's what I was wondering. It looked like it was going right for the steps. That gets in the dugout. It's 2-1.
Tied at 1 on the wild pitch.
And the ball getting away, and now McHenry, he's just going to quickly throw it there. You know, hoping that AJ is going to keep running. He's trying to lead him to the plate with this toss. But AJ comes to a stop. There's nobody to catch the ball. Now it's rolling right toward those steps. Thank goodness there's a little left.
It's 3-2 on Ackley, and now Bay at third, 1-1. Now he got him. 7 strikeouts. However, that pitch was preceded by the ball in the dirt that allowed Saunders to score the tying run. And hey, for every strikeout Pirates pitchers record during tomorrow and Friday's games against the Mets, you can receive $1 off the purchase price of outfield box and lower outfield box tickets for any home game next Monday through Friday here at PNC Park. Tickets will be available for purchase right after Friday's game at pirates.com/howmanyks or Saturday at the PNC Park box office. So the Pirates strike out 16 total in the next couple games. You'll be able to purchase outfield box for only $12, a savings of course, $16 off the regular price of $28. Tomorrow and Friday, both night games in New York. Tomorrow, by the way, is a radio-only game on our flagship Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan and our radio network affiliates. So tune in tomorrow night as we begin the How Many Ks promotion. And Jeff Locke tomorrow night and Wandy Rodriguez Friday. See Wandy and Jeff Locke in that dugout. Neil Walker maybe joining the team in New York. Garrett Jones walked in the first inning, and it's now 2-2. Jones launched his 4th home run of the season. Gave the Pirates some insurance. Last night came in the 8th inning with 2 outs and a man aboard. Did he go? No, and maybe Jones and the Pirates getting a call there. Perhaps 3-2. Henry on deck.
Oh, so kind of a roll of the dice when you ask.
Yeah, you're right. It's a flip of the coin.
What you're going to get, yeah. But you got to ask every time because of that.
No question about that one as he goes down on strikes. The 3rd K for Felix Hernandez. That brings up Michael McHenry, who hit into an inning-ending double play in the first.
Hard sharpness right at the end. Kings are happy.
Cy Young in 2010 when he went 13-12, a 2.27 ERA and through 250 innings. Led the league in ERA and innings pitched, but won only 13 games and won the Cy Young. Winning Randy Johnson as the other Mariners to win that coveted Pitchers Award. 2-0. And Jack Surincic, the Western Pennsylvania native who took over as the general manager of the Seattle Mariners in October of 2008, locked up King Felix to that huge contract in February. This team has more pitching coming. The question has been, will they score enough runs anytime soon to really contend in a very tough American League West? This Mariners team has finished in last place 7 of the last 9 years. Pop up center field. And the catch made. Let's go back down to Robbie Ince-Mikowski.
Well, you talk about Jack Surincic, the general manager of the Seattle Mariners. There he is, native of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, born and raised there. Got many family and friends at both games last night and today. And his daughter Kimberly still lives here at 38 years of age. She's a nurse practitioner at Passavant Hospital. She's here at the game as well. So a nice homecoming for Jack Surincic.
He's a good guy. He really is. He was a scouting director for the Pirates, Robbie, in the early 90s. He got his start as a scout thanks to the late John Niederer. Hired him as a part-time scout, and hooked on, worked hard, and had a lot to do with the Milwaukee Brewers turning the corner. He was in charge of their scouting department for several years before being named as the GM of the Mariners in October of 2008. 0-2 the count on Pedro Alvarez. It to second. And the Bucks go down in order through 4 innings. It's now a 1-1 ball game at PNC Park. Tyler Graham hits the home. Dan Uggla hits the home run. Tyler, one of the Gypsies. Dan Uggla lookalike.
Oh, that's right.
Make sure we take a shot of those two when we're in Atlanta later this year. How about last night? The Cincinnati Reds, the comeback win. Back-to-back home runs. Devin Mesoraco, the Punxsutawney native. And Shin-Soo Choo. The walk-off home run. So the Reds, like the Pirates, gaining a game on the Cardinals last night. Both clubs 2 back with the Cardinals in the Central. 1-0 on Jesus Montero. And 2-0. 23-year-old Venezuelan native who came over in the Yankee deal with Michael Pineda going to New York. January of last year, Pineda got hurt, still on the DL. Now 3-0 on Montero. Keeping it cool. One on Montero.
And no leadoff walks.
Bouncing ball, shortstop Barmes. And away, no leadoff walks. A 3-1 pitch, he gets Montero to bounce to short. Next Sunday night classics, relive Ron Francis's overtime goal against the Rangers in Game 4 of the Pens 1992 Patrick Division Finals. Experience this legendary game like never before with exclusive interviews from Ron Francis, Larry Murphy, Scotty Bowman, Troy Loney, Sean McEachran. Sunday night classics, Pens Rangers overtime thriller debuts Sunday at 8 on Root Sports.
Yeah, that changeup that we have seen this afternoon, it looks like it's got cut action on it, like a cut fastball or a slider. That was another one. He just threw Chavez. Another thing that's odd about the changeup, we saw the grip, so we know that that's what it was. But he's throwing it awfully hard for a changeup. There's only about a 4-mile-an-hour difference off his fastball.
Breaking ball for a strike. It'll be interesting to talk to AJ about this.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him what I won't be able to ask him the next couple of days. You'll have to ask him.
I will. Why won't you be able to ask him?
Well,
don't tell me you're not going on the trip with us.
As you know, Greg,
2-2.
My middle son John is getting married this weekend, so the Pirates have given me some time off, and Mr. Blass is going to go and make his first road trip in a long time.
How about that? Going to New York.
He will go to New York with you guys. Take my place.
Think he'll be able to handle it?
I'm sure you guys will take care of him.
Bouncing ball, nice play backhand by Mercer, but Jones can't pick the ball out of the dirt, and Chavez will wind up at second base. Excellent play by Mercer. Couldn't get a lot on the throw, and Jones cannot make the pick. He's a little disappointed in himself. Garrett Jones.
Well, I was talking to Rob and Teague during the pregame. One of the things that I mentioned for us to look for today is you have to play good defense in these pitcher duel type games. Now here an error allows a runner to get into scoring position. And think back to last inning when the game was tied up. There was a possible double play that wasn't turned. Not an error, obviously, but a decision to take the easy way, not go for two. A defensive decision.
Mercer had to hurry that throw against the speedy Andy Chavez. Here's Robert Andino. But just yesterday, the Pirates infielders were literally throwing balls in the dirt to both Garrett Jones and Gabby Sanchez. Early workout yesterday. All the infielders on the left side throwing balls in the dirt to try and get Garrett Jones and Gabby Sanchez, that experience. One of the drills they do during the season. Ball fouled out of play off to the right. 0-2 on Robert Andino. Chavez, good speed, a base hit through the infield. Should score him. And Burnett going to try to stop that from happening. Matched up against the Mariners ace, Felix Hernandez. That, by the way, the first hit of the game for the Mariners, the infield hit for Chavez. Time called McHenry going to trot out. Talk with A.J. Burnett. No true count on Andino. The pitcher, Felix Hernandez, will follow. So if you get Andino, feel good about your chances. Getting King Felix getting out of this thing. Andino
only hitting 175. You got to be feeling good about getting out of this no matter what right now.
Bounce to third, look to second, throw to first to get Andino.
Mariners are not a real good offensive club at this point of the season. They may get better as the year goes along, but right now they're looking for ways to score more runs.
Two outs in the inning, and here is Felix Hernandez.
If you're AJ, you want to try and get this out without even allowing the ball to be put in play. Get that strikeout.
4 hits in his career. Felix Hernandez, 28 at bats. Actually hit a home run in 2008. 0-2. Home run, a grand slam off Johan Santana in New York in 2008. He's in the hole 0-2 as A.J. Burnett looks to put his mound opponent away. This would be his 8th strikeout. 8 strikeouts for A.J. Burnett. 4.5 played. It's a 1-1 ball game. A.J. Burnett matched up against Felix Hernandez, and so far through 4.5, it has lived up to that billing. A marquee pitching matchup. The Pirates scored in the first inning. Starling Marte led off with a double. 1 out later, Andrew McCutchen brought him home. And then in the fourth, Mariners score on a wild pitch. Hernandez faces the bottom third of the Pirates' order: Mercer, Barmes, and Burnett.
That reminds you when the West Coast teams used to come in years ago. You'd have a Drysdale Blast matchup.
Exactly right.
We kiddingly bring that up. One of the games that Blast, our buddy Stevie, likes to remember as a game where he and Drysdale hooked up. He came out the winner.
He tells the story that one of the players, might have been Maz, goes up to him as he's warming up in the bullpen against Drysdale, said, "Pitch a shutout, kid, and we'll hope for a tie."
You are going to take care of him in New York, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a fair ball. Wasn't hit all that hard, but perfectly placed. And Jordy Mercer into second base with a leadoff double.
You know, the location of this ball, it's in on his hands, but the location he hits it is what the important thing. Obviously, you mentioned it, Greg. Not hit all that hard, but right down the line. And that's why you can't predict what's going to happen in pitching duels, things like that. Is you could get 3 balls in a row like that, and then somebody hits a little blooper. Then maybe you do make a bad pitch, and somebody puts one into the gap out there, and now the game is all blown up. And that's what a pitcher cannot control. You can make a good pitch and still give up a double.
Strike on Barmes, who singled with 2 outs in the second.
And normally you'd be trying to move the runner, but not now. AJ's hitting behind you. You got to hit for yourself here. Go for the base hit.
Yeah, you got to try and bring him in, right?
Moving him to third, really, with the pitcher hitting behind you, is not. Well, as I say that, he's trying to move to third.
He's trying to butt for a hit.
Well,
but he's really, as you say, it's his job to try and bring that runner in.
Right. That bunting for a hit's not going to knock in the run.
A quick word there, Burnett.
I personally don't agree with that at all.
You know, knowing Barmes, Bob, no, I take that away. I was going to say maybe just showing bunt, but he almost disastrous because
just give up.
Wouldn't even, it's like kind of the pitcher batting there. Almost bunted the ball into the air high enough to allow Seager to make a catch.
It's just my opinion, but we're trying to bunt here with the pitcher on deck. No, I want you to knock the run in. I mean, the third baseman it's not like he's playing back. He's even with the bag.
I'm guessing, Bob, that came from the bench there. I can't see Barmes bunting on his own. But we'll find that out later. And now, of course, swinging away.
The last time up, he got one of our base hits.
Oh boy, the first baseman Morales creeping toward the railing and slowed down and did not fully extend that arm.
Talking about the defense and how important it is. He really, it didn't look that bad in that shot, but from where we're sitting up here looking down, his attempt was not.
It's a better look right there.
The ball didn't even make it to the stands. The ball, you can see where it hit the young man's hands. It was on the railing, or actually on the playing side of the railing.
Now it's gone to 2-2. Just missed. Now the count 3-2. This could really work out for the Pirates. If Barmes is able to reach, then Burnett can try and bunt them over.
Yeah, and now you have two men in scoring position for the top of your order. That would be ideal in this scenario.
Toward right. Chavez is going to make the catch. Mercer is going to tag. And Chavez does not have the strongest arm in the world, so he'll move up without a throw as the ball is cut off.
Well, he did get the runner over. I mean, that's the way you want to try and get the runner over, because you might be able to knock him in with that ball hit out there. See, he's getting a lot of high fives for moving the runner over. We'll see how it works out. Hopefully AJ can do something special.
And then a weak comebacker to the mound his first time up.
He'll have the advantage of the infield playing in.
He had 2 RBIs last year, 4 hits and 63 at bats. His first season in a Pirate uniform, career 117 hitter when the season began. He is 0 for 14. And he's showing bunt. What was happening here, Bob? What was going on?
I guess he's going to try and get him home with the old safety squeeze. That you know, normal squeeze you take off early. Well, a safety squeeze you don't run until you see the ball bunted on the ground, and then you try to beat the play to the plate.
Change up there, showing bunt and then swinging away.
Nice play. The red glove.
Now it's 1-2. And he strikes out. Showing bunt on the 1-2 pitch. Starling Marte come to the plate.
Boy, the DH wouldn't have to worry about all this, you know.
That's right. Marte doubled in the first inning. A dribbler in front of the plate his last time up. One ball, one strike count. Now a 7-game hitting streak for Starling Marte. He's currently batting .328. He's fouled out of play. He began the day at .325, good for 9th in the National League. 42 hits. Matches him with Shin-Soo Choo of the Reds for the most hits in the National League. He has now scored 26 runs. Only Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies and Choo of the Reds have scored more runs than Marte. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hernandez 13-9 last year, .306 ERA. Mentioned that perfect game he pitched in August. That was during a 9-game stretch where he went 7-0 with a 1.23 ERA and 4 shutouts during that 9-game stretch last summer. Another foul ball. Stays 1-2. Montero wants to go out and talk to him.
He's got great control and he knows how to pitch. And he can do basically 3 different things with his fastball, which really helps him out. His fastball, 3 different pitches. He cuts it, makes it move away from the right-hander. He can throw the 2-seamer or the 4-seam fastball, make it go straight. And then he's got the other 3 basic pitches to go with it, and he can command all of them. He's a complete pitcher. Trying to work Marte outside, although it looked like
you see Montero maybe set up outside and then
kind of trick him a little bit. Start outside and it looked like he was going to slide back in.
Worked away, breaking ball in the dirt, and he strikes out Starling Marte. So the leadoff double doesn't amount to anything for the Pirates. On to the 6th inning. It's 1-1.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
It is 1-1 here in Pittsburgh, PNC Park. Looking at the Clemente Bridge. Folks oftentimes will take some time off, maybe a lunch break at work, and walk across during a matinee game and catch some of the action. Folks that did decide to come out treated to an outstanding pitching matchup. Pirates ace A.J. Burnett against the Mariners ace Felix Hernandez. Ball 1 on Michael Saunders, top of the order. 1 hit allowed by Burnett. 2 walks. Those are the 3 base runners.
Another one of those cutting changeups.
Traded over from the Yankees February of last year.
It looks like a slider is what it looks like. When you watch from the center field camera, you're thinking that, or I am, that AJ just threw a slider, just got foul down the left side into the seats. But we looked at his grip on one of them. I had a shot inside the glove, and you could see it was a changeup style grip. But 87 mile an hour with movement into a lefty is certainly 2 unusual things to have going for you when you're throwing a changeup. Now that's the curveball. Anytime you see that movement 82, that's always his curveball. If you look up where it says 2-2 right now, up in the top left of the screen, that's where you'll see the velocity every pitch we throw. 88. That's look, see the movement, right?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. It's a little hard for a changeup and having that movement. This looks like a slider, but I believe it is. AJ doesn't throw a slider.
And a leadoff free pass to Michael Saunders, who walked to lead off the fourth and scored. The third walk for Burnett. Tweets coming in about day baseball. Off of work and getting to enjoy daytime Bucco baseball. There's nothing better than taking in a Pirates day game at PNC Park. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood for some Bucco baseball. This is AT&T for the tweets. Hashtag Bucks Booth. Jason Bay walked in the first. Bay is susceptible to hitting into double plays. He bounced out in the first inning. A couple of back-to-back 100 RBI years for Jason Bay. Michael Saunders was wild pitched to second base with Bay at the plate in the fourth inning. I mentioned it earlier that Saunders has 5 of the 9 steals for the Mariners. Last 5 years for Jason Bay. Big season in Boston, 36 homers, 119 RBIs, and then signed the big deal with the Mets before the 2010 campaign. It just did not work out in the Big Apple for him.
Looking at those double play numbers, Greg, 36. That's an awful lot of double plays for the Mariners. Maybe they should start a few more runners. You said earlier they don't run much.
There he goes. And the throw is strong, but late. And a steal for Saunders.
Ran on a breaking ball. And that's one of the things that base stealers always try and do. And it seems like they have a lot of success at that when AJ's out there. Picking that breaking ball to run on.
Look from the AGH cam at the slide for Saunders. Russell Martin in the dugout. Jason Bay now count of 1-2. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burnett trying to get Bay. And trying to keep Saunders at second at the same time. Count is full again, much like that fourth inning. Bay was acquired from San Diego in August of 2003, along with Oliver Perez, the Brian Giles deal. Bay and Perez both wound up playing for the Mets.
What a great deal. And Oliver Perez, first couple years we had him was
ground ball that will move the runner. Bay gets the job done. Yeah, Oliver Perez was one of the best lefties in the league.
Yeah, that was some kind of trade. A lot of people say that 2 of the best trades the Pirates ever made was getting Giles and trading him.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a great player while he was here, and then they got him for a left-handed reliever, and then the trade when he left. Got a Rookie of the Year in Jason Bay, and for a while anyway, a top left-handed starting pitcher. Infield end.
Kyle Seager has struck out twice. Once swinging and the last time looking. 8 Ks so far for A.J. Burnett. This will be his 90th pitch of the game. And that will not do the job as Mercer goes on to first. Big out for Burnett to get Seager. They hit to the Pirates second baseman with the infield in.
Well, Seager got an excellent pitch to hit. Trying to go inside, and they threw a fastball basically right down the middle. But Seager did nothing with it. Ground ball to second. I mean, that's just right in the center of the plate. Seager hit it straight down.
Morales has grounded out twice. It's his 6th start this season at first base, mainly their DH. One ball, 1 strike. Broken his bat, popped up toward the seats. Alvarez over to take a look.
Well, it didn't sound real good coming off there.
No, but he did not break it.
Not even checking it. The hitters can tell by feel that when there's a chance they broke it, they'll feel it in their hands. No glove, just a lot of tape.
He is 3 for 10 lifetime against A.J. Burnett. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, tie game, and he got him. Have to throw to first to complete the strikeout, and they will. A.J. Burnett has struck out 9. He has allowed 1 hit. Pirates and Mariners are knotted up at 1 apiece. Was living up to the matchup that we talked about, living up to its billing. And it continues with Snyder, McCutchen, and Jones due up here against Felix Hernandez. He has struck out 5. He's allowed 4 hits, including a pair of doubles. bounced to second. And one out. And now a matchup of their ace against the Pirates' offensive star. Felix Hernandez faces Andrew McCutchen. Now McCutchen singled up the middle in the first inning to bring home Marte with a Pirates run. Last time up, he struck out McCutchen. McCutchen 9 hits in 17 at-bats on the homestand. It's the 5th and final game of the stand. Collected his second 4-hit game in the last 6 last night. Felix Hernandez against Andrew McCutchen. And to right field, and a late start, but plenty of time for Chavez to come in and make the catch. 2 up and 2 down. Hernandez has gotten McCutchen 2 out of 3 times. We're talking about the short homestand, but back again after this 4-game series into New York. A look ahead brought to you by Nissan, the road ahead. Pirates return to take home the Brewers. We mentioned interleague play against Houston, and then the Cubs. Good stretch of home games here in May. The Pirates are now 10-6 at PNC Park. They have won 5 of their last 7 here and 9 of their last 13. A walk and a strikeout so far for Garrett Jones. Hernandez does not give up a lot of home runs. He's given up 3 so far this season. Gave up just 14 last year.
Doesn't give up much of anything, does he? Doesn't walk anybody. Doesn't give very many hits. That's why he's the king.
One ball, 1 strike. So it'll be an easy play for Ackley. 7 pitches in the bottom of the 6th inning, on to the 7th. 1-1 ball game. Afternoon. He's pitched extremely well. He has allowed 1 hit. He has struck out 9 batters. He was perfect through 3. In the last 3 innings, he has struck out Mariners to end threats. 4th, 5th, and 6th with men on base, recording the strikeouts.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what we expected to see. Not very many hits. He's only given up 1, and a lot of strikeouts. Exactly the ball game that the crystal ball said that AJ would give us.
and see if he can put up one more zero here in what is probably his last inning. And here's the comparison to numbers 34. Hernandez has allowed 4 hits. Burnett just the 1. Has walked 3. Falls behind Dustin Ackley, 2-0. 80 pitches thrown for Felix Hernandez, but the bullpen for the Mariners has been activated. 96 pitches so far for A.J. Burnett. And he falls behind the leadoff man, 3-0.
Now the bullpen's been activated because that number 9 spot could come up in this inning with runners in scoring position. And then the Mariners will have to make decisions they're not used to.
3-1. Carter Capps loosens in the bullpen. Third-year skipper Eric Wedge. Right at third, and well off the line was Alvarez. It played perfectly to retire Dustin Ackley. Burnett retired the side in order. First 3 innings. Just the leadoff man here in the 7th, and now faces Jesus Montero. Broken bat liner to short in the 2nd, and a ground ball to the shortstop Barmas in the 5th inning for Montero. 100th pitch is drilled towards center field. McCutchen back, nearing the wall, and gone. Jesus Montero, his 3rd home run of the season, and the Mariners take a 2-1 lead.
Pitch number 100. Fastball over the inside edge. He was able to keep his hands in and hit it out to center. Watch the ball kind of sit right on the inside corner. Looked like McHenry had called it a fastball away. You could see him try to reach back in, hoping that ball would make it past the bat.
Now the Mariners up by 1. Montero's 3rd home run of the season. Bounce to Mercer. 2 outs in the 7th. That was the 3rd home run allowed by Burnett. He's done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark this season. Montero, they think, many in baseball believe he is going to be a real superstar behind the plate. Big prize that they got when they traded young pitcher Michael Pineda. At 15 home runs last year as a rookie. One count on Andino.
Another thing for AJ today, a big plus. Getting through the 7 innings. I mean, that's something that we'd like to see on a regular basis from a lot of our starters. Give that bullpen only 2 innings of work. This will be twice in a row he's gone 7.
Felix Hernandez on deck. What do you think, Bob? If Andino reaches, do you think he lifts Hernandez?
No. Would you?
No.
That's a decision that they normally don't have to make in American League. You just pitch until you're done. That's why you really don't need 25-man roster for American League teams. They can cut it down to 23 and nobody really noticed.
Not that we are wishing to find out, but if he loses Andino, we will find out. This pitch is ball 4. We're going to find out right away here. And here comes Felix Hernandez. So Carter Capps will sit down.
If I was AJ there, I might have walked him on purpose. Just, well, okay, let's see. Maybe they will. I hope they will. And if they don't, you think, well, I'm going to get Hernandez out anyway. Give them an opportunity to get him out of the game. And the way he is pitching right now, you don't want to see him go back out.
Bounce toward Jordy Mercer. Throws out Felix Hernandez. Jesus Montero breaks the 1-1 tie with his 3rd home run of the season. And so Felix Hernandez will go back out for the 7th. And we'll keep it right here for a matinee. Take me out to the ball game. 7th inning stretch time here. Again at PNC Park.
On Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Fabulous shots from our AGH cam. Here at PNC Park, the Pirates have 3 more shots down a run. Jesus Montero's home run giving his battery mate the lead now. The Pirates had a 1-0 lead in the first. 0 since for Felix Hernandez. Mariners tied the game on a wild pitch in the 4th inning. And the Montero home run the top half of this 7th. Michael McHenry, Pedro Alvarez, and Jordy Mercer. McHenry hit into a double play to end the 1st inning and fly to center field his last time up. Lines this ball to left field. The 4th begins the 7th. And a base hit to left.
Hunting fastball, first pitch, got it, did something with it.
Henry, his 8th hit of the season, just 33 at bats for him. Alvarez has popped up and grounded out.
No ground balls right now.
No, he's 0 for his last 13 at bats.
He's due. Could have hit one in the bushes.
That's exactly what he and the Pirates need right now. I'll take a hit, but you'd love to see him drive one. Lays off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Once again, much like last year, you start to think that Alvarez is going to go through one of his hot streaks. Haven't seen it yet. He's hit a handful of home runs this season, 5 of them, but he can go on a tear. Ball, 2 strikes. Ask Bob if his crystal ball has a Pedro Alvarez home run in it.
I didn't see one before the game, but
you did not see one.
But it could change.
Now wait a minute. The question was, do you see one in your crystal ball right now?
Right now, all I have is this baseball.
You're not answering the question, Senator.
Oh, I see what you did. You want me to go on record right now, right this second?
I'm just, the tweeter asks. I'm not asking. I'm asking you to answer it for him.
No, he's not going to hit a home run this at bat.
Wow.
Crystal ball does not see that.
Yeah, there you have it. Let's hope for good things, though.
Yeah,
not a home run, but...
Yeah, I don't see a home run, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a base hit.
Sure.
You know, maybe a moving the runner to the second type hit.
Still 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alvarez. 1 hit in his last 15 ABs since he homered in his first at-bat, the first of the month. It's in Milwaukee. Now they've been pitching to him at 5th home run.
Everybody just seems to just pound Pedro away this year. Again, they're going away.
And it's a double play ball. Right back to the mound.
Just stay away from that ground ball. Couldn't do it.
Two outs. Alvarez, the one hopper right back to Felix Hernandez, and bring out Mercer.
Down and away. You know, it's just so easy to roll over on it. And that was exactly the way he was pitched. Just a little cluster down there. Hernandez knows what he's doing, obviously. He's down, excuse me, down and away, down and away, down and away, down and away, hoping that he'll roll over on a ball and get a double play, and that's what happened.
Mercer on a play is in the hole 0-2. Mercer led off the 5th inning with a double, and then the next batter, Clint Farmers, tried to bunt him over to 3rd, but then got 2 strikes on him, flied out to right. Mercer moved to 3rd, and then AJ Burnett was trying to bunt, bring him home that way. Wasn't a suicide. Ball hit toward right center. Chavez toward the track makes the catch. 10 pitches that inning for Felix Hernandez, who has a 2-1 lead through 7th. Giant Eagle Advantage Card at the PNC Park ticket windows, or go to pirates.com/advantage card. And don't forget, Sundays are Kids Days at PNC Park. Bring your whole family to the ball game. Giant Eagle Advantage Card discount Sunday.
Those are good seats right there, aren't they? Right behind them.
Where is that?
No, it's obvious.
Those
right
Lexus
behind,
Club seats?
Yeah, right behind home.
That's not
row.
John Wayner. He would never sit in the
That's front row Lexus Club
front
seats.
row
right there,
Lexus
yeah.
Club. John Wayner.
Is that John?
I think it is.
Wow, how did he get those seats?
Oh. Here's Vin Mazzaro taking over for A.J. Burnett. Mazzaro making his 10th appearance.
Yeah, John is sitting just off of the K in Park.
Does that telestrate or
Oh, yeah. But that's right behind home plate.
how about that?
See, there it is, just off the K.
Yeah,
See
I see it.
Park? There it is.
How about
Right
that
there.
seat for Wayner?
Yep. That's a pole around here.
There's Michael Saunders. Walked twice his last 2 times up, struck out in the first inning. Two balls, 2 strikes on Saunders. Bay to follow, then Seager. And now 3-2. Pirates pitchers have walked most batters in the National League. And add that one to the total. Burnett walked 4, struck out 9. Gave up just the 2 runs in 7 innings. Pens head back home for Game 5, the opening round series against the Islanders. You can catch all the action right here tomorrow starting at 6 with a special 1-hour pregame on Root Sports. Mason Bay, big hockey fan. He enjoyed going to some Penguin games his time with the Bucks.
Who do we root for?
What's that now?
Who do we root for?
Right now?
Yeah. Vancouver, Edmonton. Is it kind of like halfway in between?
I think he's closer to Vancouver. Is closer.
I'm not sure where Trail is. I know it's in the Great Northwest.
Yeah. It's as I recall, a couple of 100 miles northeast of Seattle.
Toward Edmonton, that direction.
Yes. Pitch out, but Saunders was not running on that pitch. Now it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Because Steve took a train through that part of the country one time. Canadian Rockies. Beautiful.
A couple years ago. Steve Blass.
Showed us some pictures from his, kind of like a travel log.
Yeah. And there goes the runner. It's fouled off. I think I'm told Robbie Ince-Mikowski is going to go to Trail, British Columbia when we are in Seattle. We have an off day there.
All right, if you say so.
No, I was told that you were. I'm not the boss.
Yeah.
Somebody just told me. Hey, Robbie's going to be going to Trail that day. What are you going to be doing there?
It's a ways away. I wouldn't know how to get there.
Well, he can show you. Blass. He's been there. Travis Snyder should know about it. A Washington native.
Beautiful up there, Robbie. You'll like it.
Yep. Be a lot of fun for you. We'll miss you. June 24th. Pirates will be in Seattle for that off day before taking on the M's the next 2 nights. Safeco Field, where they brought in the fences. That was a big change over the winter. Scoring runs has been a big issue, so the fence at Safeco moved in some 17 feet in the left center field power alley.
I don't really remember much about what the ballpark looked like, other than I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a neat place. I like the way the roof
kind of slide across.
Yeah, it's almost like just kind of pulling a tarp over everything. There was no, wasn't closed off from the outside, but they could keep the rain off the field.
Pirates were last in Seattle in 2007. This is the third series these two clubs have played. The Mariners were here in 2004 and swept a 3-game series. And then in 2007, Pirates won 1 of 3 against the Mariners. Kyle Seager 0 for 3. Interleague play returns. Snap throw to first, and a pretty close play. McHenry almost throwing over Kyle Seager to get that throw to Jones.
Saunders has been very aggressive coming off the bag. Got out there almost too far. I have a tough time getting around Seager.
Time called. Oh, 1 on Seager. 1 out. 8th inning. Pirates down 1. Another throw over. Saunders back. This season, opponents of the Pirates have stolen 28 bases. 9 runners have been caught. Buck's convinced he's running. Not yet. Ball fouled off. He was going on a pitch to Jason Bay. 0-2. That got Seager.
Oh, that hurt. That one couldn't feel very good. That just a bullet off the ankle.
Henry goes out. Brief conversation. Trying to buy Seager a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's about Saunders too. I'll bet you a little bit too. He certainly does look like he wants to run. I don't know with the way he leads.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The way
that
right
foot.
Like he's facing second base. There's that right foot turned open. The left foot too a little bit. Really opens his hips up.
Like a sprinter getting in the blocks. That fastball misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Saunders stole 21 bases last year in 25 tries. And there he goes. It's fouled off. He went on the 1-2 pitch to Seager.
I was just watching him the entire time, Saunders, and it looked like he almost ran in place. Watch his feet, kind of see how he's got that right foot out there, turned, ready to go, but he takes the time to drop it back toward first to push off with. You know what I mean, Greg?
Yeah.
He had it out there, and then he actually brought it back toward first and then pushed off. That is takes a lot of time to do that. Well, you gave the numbers. He's successful. But
I wonder if it's more than getting a bigger lead because of it and then able to get back quicker.
Watch his right foot. If he breaks.
You see him leaning a little bit there, back to first.
But on the one where he broke, he dropped his right foot back toward first base and then went. Instead of just pushing off from where he was at. If you're going to do that, well, then what's the point getting all turned out there anyway? If you're not going to run from that position.
You wonder if it has more to do with his lead and getting back to the bag.
I can't believe he does that every time.
He did it last night every time.
Dropped his back foot like that when he steals.
Strikeout, and brings up Hendrys Morales.
A few pitches, but watch his right foot. He lifts it off the ground and steps back toward first base. Now he's got it turned, and you would think he would just leave it where it's at and push off. Wouldn't take that time to lift it out of the ground, move it back, set it down again, and then push off. If he even realizes he does that. As open as I've ever seen anybody with a lead.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Opens himself up totally toward the bag. Hey, you would think he could pick him off without much. You know, just kind of turned his back toward first base. And there he is. He's opened up, turned toward second, ready to go.
Pizarro now in front of Morales, 0-2. Toward right. And the play made by Snyder. So a scoreless inning of relief for Pizarro. And at the bottom of the 8th, Pirates down 1.
Any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Here at PNC Park, Pirates have 2 more shots at the Mariners, and right now it is Felix Hernandez on the mound. They have a righty and a lefty up in their bullpen. Brandon Inge coming out on deck with Clint Barmas at the plate. Barmas has one of the Pirates' 5 hits. And strike 1. As advertised. So was Burnett. But Montero hitting the home run. Fly ball to shallow center field. Saunders coming in. Makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. Inge will be called back, and Jose Tabata will pinch hit. Tabata getting a plate appearance for the first time since last Wednesday in Milwaukee. He was lifted from that ball game, a little hamstring injury after stealing second base in the 8th inning. Ball one. The Mariners, again, a righty-lefty combo. That is former Pirate Oliver Perez, the lefty, and Carter Capps back up, loosening the right-hander. Tabata lines it toward right, but it's going to carry out. Chavez decides to dive for it. Line drive to right.
And that's how Tabata hits the ball when he's getting right. There's line drives the other way. Ball smoke that direction. Watch the dive on the AGH cam. They took
Lucky didn't hit it in the head.
They took that ball good 3 feet off the grass.
I almost think that's a little more dangerous, catching the ball leaving your feet rather than just staying up. There's a check swing roller. And very close, and Marte beats Hernandez to the bag. Just like last night in the first inning, very similar play. Justin Smoke fielded it, but Harang raced to the bag. Here, Hernandez maybe just pulled up at the last moment. No, that's just great hustle by Marte.
Marte just blew by him right there, the last step.
Oh, what a great shot that is. Man.
Great call.
Yeah. Give Chad Fairchild the credit there, the first base umpire.
Tie goes to the runner.
Boy, wouldn't this be something if the game turns on that play? Little things in baseball. Snyder 0 for 3.
Defense.
And
pitcher's duel. Gotta make all the right moves.
Check swing, ground ball with 2 outs. Marte racing to beat Hernandez there. And there he goes for second. And now he stops.
He stumbled. After about his second step, he stumbled.
Wow. Well, the Pirates got a little bit of a break. Now the Mariners, because Marte stumbles on his way to second, would have had that base stolen had it not been I'm not even sure Montero was going to throw at all anyway. But once he saw him stop, of course, then he was done. But I think if Marte keeps going despite the stumble, Montero was going to throw. He's going to throw it from his knee initially.
You know what I think was going to happen in Marte's mind. He didn't know that it was a bad pitch.
Right.
If that's say a fastball, something a good pitch to throw on, Montero's going to come up firing to second base. Marte would have a chance to get back. I think that was what Marte was thinking. I'll be able to get when Montero throws to second, I'll be able to get back to first. But like you said, Montero thought I'm probably not going to have a chance, and he was going to eat the ball. And because of that, now Marte is hung out to dry.
Yeah, of course, Marte has no way of knowing that. And now Brian Morris going to try and put up a 0 and see if the Pirates can win it in the bottom of the ninth with Snyder, McCutchen, and Jones due up. Dustin Ackley 0 for 3 against A.J. Burnett. Brian Morris gave up a 3-run homer to Tyler Moore on Sunday afternoon of the Nationals. Put the game away. The Nationals won it 6-2. So this is first outing since that, and see how he responds after being touched up for that 3-run homer. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 2 strikes to count. Brian Morris recalled April the 30th from Indy. Dustin Ackley, first round pick in 2009. Ackley was the second pick that year overall, right behind Steven Strasburg. The Nationals picked Strasburg, and the Mariners then selected Dustin Ackley. All right. Great shot that is. McCutchen. Here is Jose Montero, and it's time to look at who's bringing the lumber. Brought to you by Yellowwood. Montero's 3rd home run of the season in the 7th inning. Broke the 1-1 tie. Now faces Brian Morris. Morris was a first-round pick of the Dodgers 7 years ago. Strike. Morris is the one player left in that trade, the 3-team trade involving Jason Bay when he went to Boston. Manny Ramirez went from Boston to the Dodgers. And the Pirates got a few players, including Brian Morris, in that deal. Still high hopes that Morris will be a very effective reliever. Made 5 appearances in the big leagues last year. And back up again this season. Tennessee native. Here comes Barbas. Second out.
I was over at the Pirate Fest with Jared Hughes, and it was one of those question and answer type things with fans. And the question to Jared was, are there any young guys that we should be aware of that are coming up? And Jared singled out Brian Morris. He said, this is a young right-hander that you know, is going to really surprise everybody.
And it's certainly high praise. Jared Hughes now back down at AAA Indy.
Now Jared will be back. He was too good last year to be down for long.
Looking forward to getting Jared Hughes back in that Pirate bullpen before too long.
He just needs to find last year's form. That's all. Getting all those ground balls, power sinker. Got to have that good control.
One and two on Chavez. Braves now lead the Reds 7-1 in the 8th inning in Cincy. Juan Francisco with a grand slam for Atlanta. And Chavez will reach. Sounded like he broke his bat on that pitch from Brian Morris. And he's a threat to go. A 2-out single for Chavez. Now Robert Andino 0 for 2 with a walk. Felix Hernandez is on deck.
And I was wondering, what would they do?
Good block there. Michael McHenry.
There he is. It's a very good ball game this afternoon.
Closer you saw up earlier, Tomo Helmson. But did Eric Wedge think about letting Hernandez go out there for the 9th? Goes to 2-1. Andino played for the Orioles last handful of years. Traded over this winter to Seattle. Two balls, 2 strikes. One of the best days of the season so far. Time temperature first pitch 67 degrees in the sun. Runner going. Ground ball to short. Nice little play there by Barmes. And we'll move to the bottom of the 9th inning at PNC Park. Last shot for the Bucs. Snyder, McCutchen, and Jones.
And he grew up a huge Seattle Mariners fan. Grew up in Kirkland, Washington. Went to born in Kirkland. Grew up in Mill Creek, I should say. All about under a 25-minute ride from the old Kingdome and also Safeco Field. But Travis Snider was a huge fan. Went to games his whole career. He was particularly a big fan in 2001 when that Mariners team won 116 games. And then after that, he stopped becoming a fan. I asked him why. I said, how do you do that? He said, well, my baseball career started taking off in high school. I was playing over 80 games every summer, and I didn't have time to follow it. And I asked him who his favorite player was, of course. He said Griffey, A-Rod, Jay Buhner, Randy Johnson. He goes, man, the best years that franchise has ever seen. Certainly that's true, and certainly he probably wouldn't be upset to start a rally here against his team he grew up idolizing.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he'd mind that at all. Robbie, thank you. Tommy Wilhelmsen tries to save it for King Felix. 8 for 8. Save chances.
Well, there definitely would have been a pinch hitter. Gone to their closer, even though King Felix was just cruising. Changing horses. Wilhelmsen gives up an awful lot of hits.
Twin hurdle between innings. Talking to Starling Marte. Is it possibly saying, you know, when that happens again, just keep going? Ball bounced to the right side. And one up and one down. Wilhelmsen gets Snider.
I still think that Marte thought the throw was going to second. He knew he could get back. I would be shocked if there was any other reason for him to stop.
Right.
Because he's not going to stop and get in a rundown.
Sure.
He was stopping to go back, and he was probably surprised as anybody when Montero held the ball on him.
Now it is McCutchen who singled in the Pirates' run in the first inning and then struck out in the third and flied out in the sixth.
Wilhelmsen's already given up 4 hits this year, Greg.
Already?
Yeah.
29 saves last year.
Opposition, 87. Oh, that's gone down.
Well, that Bender, 0-2, called a strike. Give credit to the Mariners. Talking about Jack Surincic putting together this bullpen. The most inexpensive bullpen in the league. Not necessarily household names, but without question getting the job done, including Wilhelmsen. '97 up and in, 2-2. Wilhelmsen took over as the Mariners closer in early June last year. Ended up tied for 7th in the American League with 29 saves. And now it's 3-2. Does he walk anybody, Bob?
Yes, he does. He's walked more people than he's given up hits.
5 walks, 4 hits, and 14 innings. Two pitch toward right. Chavez over and did not get there. Approaches that short fence in such little room in foul territory.
This is that play where most guys will go sliding in on their backsides and use their legs to springs or shock absorbers as they slide into the wall. Try to slide underneath the baseball. Chavez only dives head first, man.
A pop up will be out of play. Still 3-2. McCutchen needs a new bat. Who could forget that play that Endy Chavez made? It was in 2006.
I forgot it.
I think it was the Cardinals playoff game.
You kind of forgot it.
Yeah, I did forget the team. You're right. But he made a play against. Do you remember a play he made against the Pirates? Even before that?
No.
You don't? Okay. Glad I asked.
I don't remember.
Another 3-2 pitch. And another foul ball with the new bat.
Did you want me to bluff?
No. Well, yeah, why not?
Okay. Oh,
why
wait a
change?
minute. I do
why
remember
change?
that.
There you go. See?
Yeah,
I knew you thought about it.
He was playing center, though,
Exactly.
that day, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's fact.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. Good bluff.
See how it's done.
Like I say, I'm learning. Endy Chavez, outstanding defensive outfielder. And another foul ball.
I decide to pick center, thinking I got a better than 50-50 chance that that's going to be where it's at.
Fly ball to center. He's got under that one. Saunders. 2 outs. Garrett Jones last night came to the plate in the 8th inning. The Pirates were leading by a run, and this 2-run shot off Carter Capps, his 4th of the year, gave the Pirates a 4-1 lead. They won the game by that score. Justin Case, Jason Grilli. Wilhelmsen allowed 5 home runs in 79 innings last year. And has not given up one this season. And a line drive. The Pirates have some life. Base hit. And Michael McHenry has, in a short amount of time, delivered dramatic home runs.
Centered up a center cut fastball. Thought nicking.
No strikes on the fort.
Let's pick out a fastball now. Get the bat started early, throwing hard. Way ahead in the count. Look for something, a spot you like. McHenry probably wants something inside half.
Jason Bay will make the catch, and the Mariners come away with a split of the 2-game series as this pitcher's duel between A.J. Burnett and Felix Hernandez lived up to the billing. The Montero home run, the difference in the ball game, came in the 7th, and it broke the 1-1 tie. Wilhelmsen gets the save for King Felix.
Yeah, absolutely an old-time pitcher's duel. We thought it might happen, and it certainly did.
Bucks actually out-hit the M's 7-3, but a wild pitch in the 4th inning scored Michael Saunders to tie it, and the Montero home run really won it for the Mariners. Now let's send it out to Robin T.
Greg and Bob, thanks very much. And Teak, we were talking about this in the pregame show. It could be a great pitcher's duel. Sometimes those things don't always act out on the field like they seem on paper, but we got exactly what we bargained for today.
Yeah, I mean, these are setups that, you could have a great pitching duel today because you got those two guys. We've seen a lot of times where it doesn't work out that way.